Welcome to another PFF College Football Preview. Max Chadwick alongside Dalton Wassman here. And again, Dalton, originally our plan was to only cover the playoff games, right? But we thought about, we're like, we got some really good bowl games. We got 3 games between ranked teams, and the 3 games that we had were some of the fan bases that really showed us the most love this year, including this one. I think this is the PFF College Football Show National Championship game because BYU's fan base and especially Colorado's fan base have been amazing to us this year. So when we saw this was the game we were getting in the Alamo Bowl, we're like, all right, we can't not preview BYU versus Colorado.
There's a lot of odd things about it because, first of all, you have 2 teams in the same conference because you've got the weird bowl tie-ins with Pac-12 teams that then fall apart because the Pac-12 is not a thing right now. And then there was, you remember a time not that long ago when we thought these 2 teams were going to square off in the Big 12 title game, and that obviously would have been for a playoff spot and all of that. You know, we saw the Kansas Jayhawks had to go and mess all of that up, and they were just what was it? They were the They brought everybody down with, I forgot, they were like the Joker, basically, in the Big 12, Kansas. But either way, we still get a really good football game. By all accounts, Deion Sanders says that everybody's going to play for Colorado. Yep. I haven't seen any opt-outs for BYU either. So if we get these 2 teams at full strength playing each other, there was one point where we thought we would get it for a Big 12 title. Didn't end up happening, but these are still 2 really good football teams who showed big improvement this year.
And we were hoping we would get that in the Big 12 title game for our show only because of both these fan bases, like I said, being so good to us. We still got it in the Alamo Bowl, right? It's a game on December 28th at 7:30 p.m. on ABC. You mentioned before, you got Shedeur Sanders playing in this game, Travis Hunter, the Heisman Trophy winner, and the 2 most prestigious winners in college football of the awards, Dawn, Heisman Trophy winner Travis Hunter and Jake Retzlaff Award winner Jake Retzlaff are playing in this game.
Of course, the inaugural.
Well. The inaugural
PFF Jake Retzlaff Most Improved Player of the Year award. Of course, Jake Retzlaff.
The 2 most prestigious awards in college football.
First of all, what a year for both of these programs.
Oh my God!
2 teams expected to be near the bottom of the Big 12. Both ended up inside the top 4. They had just great performances in big games all year. Obviously, a couple didn't go their way, but they were 2 of the most fun teams to watch in college football too. And look, their futures are both bright. We hear what Colorado's doing in the recruiting. BYU's got a lot of guys, including Retzlaff, coming back. I would expect them to be competing for more Big 12 championships in the future here. I don't think they're going away.
I don't think so either. Colorado just got Kane Salter in the portal, right? The quarterback from Liberty.
And very fun. And your 5-star guy, Julian Lewis, as a younger kid. I think it eases that transition. We got a bright future for both. I think this isn't going to be the last time we talk about these 2.
Big fan of the PFF College Football Show, Julian Lewis, as well. He had a really cool tweet where he was like, hey, shout out PFF College Football Show for talking about me. I was like, that's pretty cool.
Ball knowers, no ball.
Ball knowers, no ball. Yeah, Julian Lewis, very excited to watch his career next year, but we've got to talk about this game first, Dawn. Obviously, you have the BYU offense. So for one final time, break down our guy, Jake Retzlaff, for the people.
I actually love this matchup in the sense of, Jake Retzlaff wins the award.
There it is.
I need to get a trophy. Didn't expect that. Eli, you got me with that one. I was surprised by that one. I should have known it was coming, but I actually need a trophy made just like that of Jake sitting at the desk.
That should be when we make the Jake Retzlaff trophy. It's just that a cutout just like of him.
I need to figure that out. Yeah. We gotta. But anyway, let's talk about Jake because you win the most improved award for us.
Yep.
But as always, and I think as he would tell you, there's more things we got to work on, right? We didn't make the playoff. We didn't get to the Big 12 title. We didn't do everything we wanted to do this year. We did a lot. But I think facing this Colorado defense represents just about everything he needs to get better at moving forward. He's got a lot better this year. Now, these are the next steps. And I think it starts with the benchmark of this defense. Why this defense? Jake Retzlaff, I got 3 numbers for you. 1, against man coverage, which Colorado runs at the 5th highest rate of cover 1 in the FBS, all right? Single high, man across the board. Against man coverage, Jake Retzlaff passing grade, 54.6. Against zone, 87.6. So we know what the zone coverages look like. We know where the windows are. We've talked about them with him actually ripping balls down the middle of the field. Now can we throw into those tight man coverage windows? And that requires also his receivers to separate against man. That's going to be a fun test. 2, Colorado blitzes at a reasonably high rate, 38%. Retzlaff against a standard rush, 91.2 passing grade. Against a blitz, 52.5. He mentioned it to us also. The coverages at times can be harder to decipher when you're blitzing because you don't know who's coming, who's not, which way we're rotating, all sorts of things like that. 3, he's much better in rhythm right now, which makes sense. I would rather have that because you're in rhythm more often, but I'm going to go with my 2.5 second mark here. Beyond 2.5 seconds, 66.8 passing grade. Decent, not spectacular. under 2.5 seconds, 87.7. So in rhythm against zone coverage against a standard rush. Colorado, a lot of man coverage, a lot of blitzes. And this was a fun one I found this week. I actually didn't know about this. On plays that get beyond 2.5 seconds, Colorado has the best coverage grade in the country.
Wow.
1 touchdown, 8 interceptions. They've gotten.
That's stupid.
When plays get beyond 2.5 seconds, and obviously with the talent of Travis Hunter, DJ McKinney, we've seen Preston Hodge. You have so many good players on this defense, right? And we saw a couple of times this year where the run defense broke down. But in coverage, and what Deion Sanders has done with this group in the secondary, they're terrific. When the play breaks down and they just want to plaster and get quarterbacks under pressure late in the play and find the football, They hawk down the football. So I really think it's going to be about how much pressure does Colorado apply and how long is Jake Retzlaff holding the football and what does he do late in plays. I think this is the exact defense that he needs to improve upon if he wants to get himself maybe even in a dark horse Heisman conversation next year.
Absolutely. So for anyone, I realize we really break down the lore behind Jake Retzlaff and the PFF College Football Show. We get that picture one last time on here.
Yeah, he just wants to see it again, but go ahead.
Just to remind people that Dalton does not know ball. But Jake, Dalton put out his rankings of the top 70 or all 70
all
Power
70
4.
of the Power 4 quarterbacks.
And you had Jake, and we put out graphics for it, and Jake was the lowest Big 12 quarterback, right? Or he was on it. Jake obviously had an awesome year. Jake used that graphic as a motivation. That has been shown all the time on broadcast throughout the year as his motivation for the year. We actually had Jake on the show later on in the year. You were very nice. You had the tail between the legs and said, "Hey, Jake, my bad." And he goes, "Hey, everyone makes mistakes. Don't worry about it."
Absolutely.
He was talking some trash to us too, which is, I think, my favorite interview we've ever done here at PFF. Watch that interview, please. Jake was an awesome guy. Hopefully,
of course, his favorite one is at my expense.
the one one. Yes. We got to get him on again just to give him the Jake Retzlaff Award.
Yeah.
And maybe every year we got to have him give out the Jake Retzlaff Award as well. Maybe we should
got to get the trophy made.
But that's kind of the lore behind the whole Jake Retzlaff and PFF College Football Show. Not rivalry anymore, but now friendship. Once a rivalry, now friendship.
Absolutely.
So, absolutely.
And that's how it should be more often.
It should be. Yeah, it should be. But I have the Colorado offense in this game. I'm really looking at Shedeur Sanders against single high coverages because BYU, they run cover 1 or cover 3, single high shells, on 55% of their defensive snaps. Shedeur Sanders against cover 1 and cover 3, the third highest graded quarterback in the nation with a 91.2 grade. He has 11 big-time throws, 1 turnover-worthy play, 127.6 passer rating. That is second in the country. His 84.3% adjusted completion rate against single high coverages is the best in the nation. Again, adjusted completion rate is your completion rate plus any drops that your receivers have. So basically, he's been on target for 84% of his passes against single high shells. Against 2 high shells, he has an 80.8 passing grade. That's 15th in the country. Again, it's hard for me to find anything that says Shedeur Sanders is horrible at this one thing.
That's why he might go first overall.
Exactly. So it's listen, 15th best in the country against 2 high shells. He's still really damn good against him. But he's not as dominant as he is against single high shells. Against 2 high shells, he has 8 big-time throws and 4 turnover-worthy plays. More normal. Again, still one of the 15 best in the country. It's hard to find anything that Shedeur Sanders is not elite at. But a little more normal against 2 high shells. But I think if BYU plays a lot of single high shells against Shedeur Sanders, and Travis Hunter is playing in this game as well, and all the other weapons they have at Colorado, it's not going to work. I just don't think it'll work in this game. I think you got to mix it up, Dalton. Play a lot more cover 2, play a lot more quarters, play a lot more cover 6. Or Shedeur Sanders could just expose them in that secondary.
Yeah, I mean, and it makes sense because Colorado, as we've seen, there's been very few moments this year where they've run the ball well. And I think what you get with those single high coverages with all those receivers, you get 2 scenarios. You mentioned cover 1, and pretty much since the first day that last year that we saw him against TCU, I could see right away he gets cover 1. That go ball's going. That go ball's going to number 12. That's how it works. You rip to the outside. You get cover 3 this year, I think, with more weapons like LeJontay Wester and Jamie Horn and guys, and even Will Shepard, guys like that, kind of moving inside. He can make those second-level throws. He can make throws up the seam. I think that's the big thing with Shedeur is he can make any throw on the field because he can see it, right? And he sees coverages so well. So I think you're absolutely right. I think a big advantage, though, for BYU in this game is at least BYU is relatively capable of running the football. Right, and if they were to get those 2 high shells, they could sit down with L.J. Martin or Hinckley Rapati and run the ball. Colorado just hasn't shown us, outside of maybe a couple of games here and there, they haven't shown an ability to consistently run the football. So you're right. If you sit too high, You at least stand a chance.
And I think something I should have mentioned with BYU and why maybe they run cover 1 and cover 3 so much. We mentioned before, Dalton, the Big 12 is dominant at running the football.
Yeah.
And you want to put those one high shells when you need to stop the run.
When you're playing Kansas State and Oklahoma State and all Texas Tech and all these other teams that want to run the ball.
Kansas even,
Kansas, you got to put guys down there because this Colorado is really actually the outlier of the Big 12. Arizona State too.
Some of those numbers I said where they run cover 1 or cover 3 55% of the time, a lot of that could be due if they need to stop the run. In this kind of game, they might say, hey, let's play a lot more cover 2 quarters, cover 6 just to stop the pass. Because Colorado, I think they have the lowest run rate of any Power 4 team right now.
Reasonable.
So it makes sense. So I think, yes, BYU does run a lot of single high shells all year, but that might be due to game planning. This kind of game, I can see a lot more of two safeties back there for the Cougars. But Dalton, ultimately, in the PFF College Football Show National Championship game, who wins between Colorado and BYU?
I think it's a weird game because you've got, I think, Colorado's defense. Assuming everybody's playing the whole game, the only one I've seen go in the portal, I think, is Nikai Hill-Green at linebacker, who's a very important piece, actually, especially in run defense. I think you've got a situation where Colorado's defense kind of works against Jake Retzlaff a bit, and we've seen him, when he's been blitzed late in the year, it's been a problem. But also, BYU, I think, is a little bit more well-rounded when it comes to, especially offensively, being able to run the ball. If BYU can run the ball and have that balance, I think they can win this game. But I'm going to lean towards Colorado here. I think it's going to be a fantastic football game. I think both teams are going to have moments where they look really good. I think both teams going to be kind of motivated. I guess you could call it the third place Big 12 game too, right? And there's a lot of people who might have wanted to see these two play in a Big 12 title game and see where it goes. But I'll take Colorado 34-27. I think we're gonna have a lot of fun with this one. I think you're gonna see shining moments from both teams, but I'll take Shedeur and Hunter to come out on top.
I got BYU also scoring 27 points. I've got Colorado scoring 28 points. I think it's
even tighter.
I think it's going to be a hell of a game. I was struggling picking the winner of this one. I do think Colorado's going to win, though. I think Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter close out their legendary collegiate careers with a win, and they find a lot of success against BYU's one-high defense. And then on the other side, you mentioned before, Retzlaff, against zone coverage has been so good, but the problem is Colorado's got the dudes to play man coverage.
How much are you going to get it? And there's been times where Robert Livingston's gone to more Tampa 2 looks, but I don't know that this is going to be the game that he'll do it. He's been very good at adjusting what he needs to do on a week-to-week basis. And we've seen, I think the one road for BYU is they need to be the more physical team, right? And those are the 2 times in Big 12, really the 3 times all season, Nebraska, Kansas State. Colorado got out physical. If BYU can get out and run the football with Martin and Rapati, I think they got a much, much better shot of winning this game if they can control the clock and be balanced.
So we both have Colorado winning the Alamo Bowl. I just want to, again, thank both these fan bases because I would argue, Dalton, these probably been the 2 best fan bases for us this year. Every time we did a Colorado video, it exploded. Absolutely exploded. BYU as well. Always did well in our fan base as well.
And they're not going away either.
They ain't going away.
These two have set up their programs, and as wide open as the Big 12 is, it's probably going to be wide open again next year. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to see the progress of both of them next year.
So we're not done with these 2 schools. Absolutely. We still have a lot of off-season content to get to as well. But just want to thank you guys and why we're doing this game. It's one last preview for you guys this year, just to thank these 2 fan bases for how amazing they've been to our show this year. But for Dalton Wassman, I'm Max Chadwick, and we'll be back very soon with some more previews for the college football playoff and one more preview for bowl games as well. Hey, thanks for watching another episode of the PFF College Football Show. Please make sure you guys subscribe to the channel.
Also, subscribe to PFF Plus at subscribe.pff.com for all of the same data and grades that we use in our show, plus fantasy tools, betting tools, and our mock draft simulator.